Well, good evening everyone. Welcome along to another Tier 2 Tuesday. I am Tim360Lun, again here in the booth for the final round of the Tier 2 Apex Online Racing Sprint Championship. Although the first place in the championship may have been pretty well tied up by this point, in fact mathematically it is impossible for Ryan Cooper not to win the championship. The battle for second and third and even fourth is still very much on the card. So while we're just getting towards the end of first practice, I have a little rundown for you. So Ryan Cooper is leading the championship with a whopping 504 points. So very much in the lead at the moment on that one. There's not much coming back from that for anybody. Second place in the championship is the man, the legend, the homing missile, Jimmy Holm, with 321 points. Then just behind him is Andrei Nesterov with 308, and then Kondabarov with 240. So second and third place still very much all could change, and looks like our first car out on the circuit is indeed the homing missile himself, Mr. Jimmy Holm. So circuit is green at the moment, so it's going to take a little while to get everything switched on and feeling good. Conditions are cloudy, but the track temp is decent, 34 degrees ambient and 35 degrees track temp, so it should be fairly warm. Might see the Porsche struggle a little bit with that one. But it should be fairly interesting to see how all of this goes. So for now, we will keep an eye on our first driver out there, that 777 car. So Spa is one of these circuits where I think everybody in sim racing has raced it within an inch of its life. Everybody knows it. So I imagine the amount of practice they've had this round has been significantly less than other rounds. But the real one this evening to keep an eye on is going to be the battle, say, for those top second and third spots in the championship. They are still very much up for grabs. Only 13 points between second and third. So Nesterov versus Holm. And then obviously Kondabarov running in fourth place as well in the championship. Not that far behind. He's 68 points behind Nesterov, which is, it's not completely undoable. And Jonathan Clifford is only 15 points behind him. And then Matthew Bouquet is only 1 point behind him. So basically, the top 10 is very close, apart from first place. Right, so this is now our first flying lap. So while this is going on, let's see if we can get... There it is. So we're on board for the first flying lap here now. Track is still green, but we'll stick with Jimmy Holm for a minute as he flies up through Radion, Eau Rouge. Foot nailed to the board there, barely the tiniest little lift as he goes up the Camel Straight. That glorious V10 stretching its legs. And hard on the brake into Lacombe. Hard on the power again, and then down towards Brussels. Hard on the brakes, throwing it in. Decent tight line there, to be fair, and then rolls onto the throttle before going down towards Speakers. Again, don't want to go out too wide. I think he probably just about kept that okay. No name, double apex left-hander. Wash all the way out wide, and its foot nailed to the boards all the way down then. Heads now down towards this left and right of campus. Another one past the circuit where you've really got to be on your toes. You do not want to end up washing out wide, and anything of the gravel will slow you down all the way along here. Foot nailed to the board again here, keeps it nice and tidy, keeps it well within the lines. Opening up the taps again on the Lamborghini. We're going towards Blanchimont. Are we going to see a lift? Is it going to be completely flat? He goes all the way as far right as he possibly can. It's foot nailed to the boards. He's going for it now. Obviously feeling very confident. Obviously this is the very beginning and there might be a little bit of rain towards the end of qualifying. Gets hard on the brakes before the bus stop. Puts it in. And he's putting this one in as a bank lap. He's definitely just taking this one for the line. So this is going to be the benchmark for everybody. What are we going to see for the first flying lap? It's a 2:19, a low 2:19. And that is the benchmark to now try and keep a little bit of an eye on. We'll see if anyone else can come close to that. So Nesterov was his closest rival. So let's see where Nesterov is on grid at the moment. And Nesterov is still a long, long way back. But this is going to be his first flyer as well, so it'll be interesting to see what he does. They're racing in the OGA Motorsport BPM soft car. Lovely Ferrari. Going in. Is he going in for a fast lap? Yes, he is. It looks like it. So it'll be foot nailed to the board again here. Well, that's become my favourite saying of the evening, apparently. We're totally unplanned, but here we go. Nesterov up into 7th place. So again, we start another round of fast laps. That looming rain is going to mean that anybody that has tried to go for the option of waiting till later in qualifying to try and set a lap, it is going to not work in their favour. They are going to be possibly getting to the point where it might be a little bit damp towards the end of the qualifying session, so they need to get out and get it done quickly. Obviously, Tier 1 last night, that was an all-dry qualifying and an all-dry race, but there is slightly changeable weather. So who knows, we might end up seeing something a little bit different. I don't think Ryan Cooper has set a time yet. Where is Ryan Cooper? Ryan Cooper, that's Ryan Cooper there. Ryan Cooper with a different livery. He's now running stability 88%. Sorry, stability control 88%. So this entire time he's been running a different livery, and now he's changed it on the final race of the season. So whether or not he's picked up a different team, possibly. These are big names we've had running that livery. We've had Cargaloo, I believe, who was a mouse and keyboard player of all things, which is absolute insanity. And obviously, Black Goldsaw, the man, the myth, the legend. So Jimmy Holm is about to cross the line again. He has... I don't think there's been any improvement for him there, though. Let's see where Nesterov is. He's still going round. We'll jump back on board with him. He is up on his lap time at the moment. Daniel Fernandez has taken away pole position, and now Vujanovic has now taken it as well. So Jimmy Holm starting to drop back down a little bit. We'll stick with Nesterov at the moment. This is obviously his second flyer. Still no rainfall yet, but towards the end of qualifying we might start to see a little bit of moisture falling. So once more into the bus stop. What sort of times are we going to see here? He is 0.4 up on his lap time. This should be a fairly decent one. It's not going to be enough for pole, I don't think, though. Only up to 14th place, so obviously the Ferrari not feeling as good as it could do. Jimmy Holm has plummeted down the order now. He's got Vujanovic, Bouquet, Meegans, Fernandez, and Vining in front of him. I think someone else, Delurba as well, who was a late comer to the championship in the QKS Sim Racing Lamborghini. But Vujanovic at the moment, well, him and Bouquet actually did the exact same time. So it's decided to put Vujanovic on pole, but they have both done a 2 minutes 18 seconds 0.617. They are identically matched. So the rain has disappeared from the timing screen for the moment, but that might just mean that it's kind of in that lull between 10 minutes and now. I think we're probably going to stay reasonably dry towards the end, or I think actually... Was that rain? No, I think it wasn't. I think I'm losing my mind. I'm so paranoid about it raining. Who's on a decent improvement here? Have we got anyone that's really pushing forward? Ryan Cooper, I don't think, has put in anything. I wonder if he's going to go for a first to last, as he doesn't need to have any kind of finish. He can just kind of do whatever he needs to, whatever he wants to this time round. Benjamin King, we just saw him jump up to 5th place. Decent move for him there. He'll be very pleased with that. Deleubre will jump back on board with them for a little while. They are 0.2 up on their lap time. Still a long way to go in the lap, though. 0.3 up on the lap time now. Is there anyone further down? That's a big one. Oh, they just disappeared from my timing board. Where have they gone? Luca in the 199 up into 15th place. Yes, and there's the livery. Had to get it on at least one more time as this is the final round. It's my last chance to get that absolutely fantastic livery on. So, back with Deleubre. Coming into the bus stop now. Hard on the brakes. Throwing it in. A little bit deep there, but not too bad. He's still 0.5 up, but I think he might lose a little bit on the drag to the line. Now it's only 0.4. Will he lose any more? He was in 8th. He is now up into 2nd place. So it is now Vince Matt van Niveld, the fan favourite of seasons previous, in 1st place. Deleubre in 2nd, and Jimmy Holm is now in 3rd place. We're into the 218s at this point. The mid 218s. I think everyone saw that weather and decided to absolutely get out there soon. Bjorkvist on an absolute flyer though, 21st place at the moment, but he's half a second up on his lap. The GTR obviously feeling pretty comfortable here. We saw the Lexus go incredibly well here last night. And where has he put himself? Up into 10th place. Big old jump up the order. Oh, and Ryan Cooper is actually on a bit of a flyer, but there is traffic around him, so he's 0.4 up on his lap time. He is actually going to bother to do something. Also got Summerun as well, who is out there in the Super Snell Racers Ferrari. I know they've been having pedal issues today with that car, so be interesting to see how it goes. Probably going to be sort of off the pace a little bit. This driver did take part in the 24 hours of Nürburgring that was recently put on by 505 Games. So possibly absolutely pounding your pedals for 24 hours is maybe just slightly worn them out a little bit. There we go. We see, pretty sure that was Ryan Cooper that just abandoned his lap and dived out of the way. So for now, we'll keep a little bit of an eye on Summerun. Has actually levelled off on his lap time, so he is no longer improving. Someone who is improving, Igor Kristinic, 0.4 up on his lap. So Ryan Cooper has set a time of 2 minutes 20, which is significantly off the pace for that driver. How on earth Summerun has just suddenly found a load of extra time as he comes across the line? What are we going to see? Oh, I think it must have been an invalidated lap. It must have been invalidated. And here comes the rain in the last 2.5 minutes. And there's only 1 or 2 corners to go left for Kristinic. He's 0.6 up on his lap. He is just going to get himself across the line. And he should be able to hold on to it. Still 0.5 up. Gets himself up into 23rd with a 2:19.8. And realistically, that is going to be the end of people's improvement. Chris Vining still out there in the Mercedes, hammering his way up the Camel, but I can't really see that anyone is going to be able to improve. That rain has come down fairly significantly and pretty quickly. Yeah, he's already levelling off on his lap time. Kristinic was technically up and is now dropping. Vining as well is down on his lap. I realistically can't see anyone improving at this point. The track has already gone greasy, so it's gone from green to greasy. It's already deteriorating in grip. He is half a second down this lap. So, yeah, time's falling away from everyone now. Not much chance of an improvement. And as you can see, no, he just immediately bins it. Obviously a little bit upset about that one. Jimmy Holmes still out, but I think just probably for the hell of it. He doesn't really necessarily need to be out there now. He's not, no one around is improving. He's 3.5 seconds down on his lap. So definitely no improvement. Maybe just getting a little bit of a feel of what the car's going to be like if he decides to go in the wet. Is he continuing to lap? Seems to be. I'm surprised he's even bothering. I think most people have just abandoned it at this point. If we go to the onboard, get an idea of the wet falling in front of him. Say Jimmy Holm, third place on the grid. He is half a second down on his lap time, so definitely not going to be any kind of improvements from anyone at this point. By the looks of it, pretty much everyone's come into the pits now. There's one car still going. I think it was part of a 9. No, 97. I don't think that is even. That's 10 Brinker. But I can't see that they've crossed the line. Oh, they didn't. There you go. So they've gone yellow flag. They obviously decided to go up the hill just one more time. They just couldn't resist the temptation that is Radion and Eau Rouge. Surprised by this, though, to be fair. I did not imagine that we were going to see anyone bother to keep going this far into qualifying when it started to rain. This purely has to just be sort of, you know, a bit of an exploratory drive, should we say, to get an idea of what the car is going to be like if it does decide to rain. And that's surprisingly well in the wet, to be honest. I'm quite impressed with how well the car managed to get round the corner. I thought we were going to see it spinning off into the distance. And into the pits he comes. There we go. Right, so the grid should be forming very, very soon. And then we can get a decent idea of what it is going to look like. So we will wait for the cars to get there. There we go. They are on the grid. Rightio, let's run through the list. So in pole position in the McLaren is Vince van Meerveld. Pole position for the start of this race. De Lerbra in second place. Jimmy Holm in third place. Vijanovic in fourth. Matthew Bouquet in fifth. Oren Meegans in sixth. Benjamin King seventh. Daniel Fernandez in eighth. Chris Vining in ninth. And rounding out the top 10 is Dennis Bjorkvist in the Nissan GTR. Continuing on downwards, 11th place is Grigory Kondoborov. This is the driver that really does need to make up some space. If he can try and catch up with the back of Jimmy Holm or get past him, that's going to be what decides the championship, sort of second and third positions. Right, Calvin Ledjeckers in 12th place in that lovely Grello livery. Jurek ten Brinker, 13th place. Mr. Jones, 14th place. Sanyo Tadic in 15th. Azami in 16th place. Ulovic in 17th. Jonathan Clifford, 18th place. Luca in 19th place. And Nestorov in 20th place. A bit of a short grid this evening. Only 25 cars on the grid. So Robert Arlavi in 21st. Summerun in 22nd. Uncharacteristically slow. And I wonder if that is those pedal issues we were talking about earlier on. Igor Kristanich, 23rd place. Ryan Cooper, 24th. And all the way towards the back. And then Walter Billen rounds out the grid in 25th place. So pretty well spread out, everyone, at the moment. Still got 2¼ minutes until we start the race. It is cloudy at the moment. No rain on the horizon that we can see, or at least for the first 30 minutes of the race. It should be fairly interesting. Let's have a little look, actually, while we're here at the championship points, so we can run through the championship as it is. So, first place in the championship and someone that cannot be dethroned is Mr. Ryan Cooper in the Bentley, now racing for Stability Control 88%. So he's done an absolutely dominant season. He's been on the podium every single time apart from the last time round at Suzuka, where he had a bit of a bad start. Then, second place in the championship at the moment is Mr. Jimmy Holm, the Holming Missile. So he'll be looking to get a decent finish this evening, and he will definitely want to be finishing in front of Nesterov. Nesterov is the main man to be able to take away those positions, and he's got a fairly good chance as Nesterov is all the way back in 20th place. Not a good qualifying for him at all. And it's going to be in that dangerous zone where things can get a little bit choppy when you're that far back in the grid. Then we've got Kondoborov running in 4th place in the championship. He is 11th on the grid. Another one of the OGA Motorsport BPM soft cars. Then we've got Jonathan Clifford, who is... Oh, that is Jonathan Clifford. I haven't actually seen where he is on the grid yet. I definitely read his name out. He is in 18th place on the grid and running in 5th in the championship. Then Matthew Bouquet, who is 6th in the championship, and he is a lot further up. He's up in 5th place at the moment, so could possibly get himself some positions. There's only 1 point behind Jonathan Clifford. Dennis Bjorkvist, who is 7th in the championship, is 10th on the grid in the GTR. Then we've got Kubaki, who I don't think is with us at all this evening by the looks of it. Then we've got Kaz Lucas, who, again, another driver that I don't believe is with us at all. No, Kaz Lucas is not with us. And then Vince van Meerveld, who missed out on the first 2 rounds and has come back and has been inside the top 10 most times. But he obviously is pole position. So Meerveld is one to keep an eye on. And last night we did see the McLaren go very, very well here. So the formation lap begins. Still no rain on the horizon at the moment. But never say never. Stranger things have and will continue to happen here at Apex Online Racing. So just for a quick reminder while we're still on this formation lap that Season 5 of the Endurance Championship is coming up fairly soon. 27th of this month is 10 hours of this very track, Spa. Then we got 8 hours of Silverstone coming up. And that is on the 11th of the 5th. Then on the 25th of the 5th, so not that long, then we have 9 hours of Hungaroring, followed up by, on the 8th of the 6th, the Nordschleife. 12 hours of the Nordschleife. So details on where that can be watched will obviously be coming out at some point in the future. Got to put that all together and we will let you know. So keep an eye on the socials, keep an eye on Apex Online Racing, keep an eye on the Discord, and we will let you know exactly what is coming and when. But that is the update for now. But that is the Endurance Championships. That's what's coming next while we're on sort of the bit of the old summer break that we have here. So, final little bit coming up now. Few corners left to go. This is the slowest you'll see them go around this part of the circuit all day long. So for those that are not initiated here at Spa, you may not know that the start line and the finish line are in two different places. So the finish line is on this pit straight in between essentially turn 1 and this chicane here, the bus stop chicane. But the actual start line is after turn 1 on the run towards Raidillon Eau Rouge, and that is because it is the old endurance straight. So cars will be starting to stack up, but they will go all the way around turn 1, start to head down the hill, then the lights go green. So it is always absolutely bonkers as they make that run up the hill for the first time. It's fairly close in the championship, actually, for teams. Quick one, Jimmy Holm Appreciation Team, who Jimmy Holm actually isn't in, is 589 points, and then OGA Motorsport BPM Soft in second place. Both very, very close. But right now, let's concentrate on what's going on track as the cars stack up now towards the start line. I think pretty much everyone is going to have rounded the corner. We're going to stick with the drone cam for now, so we're above, get a decent view of everyone trying to go up through turn 1. You can see the start line is looming. Currently, it is still red. We're waiting for the green, and there we go. 16 minutes of Spa starts now. Great start for Meerveld, immediately getting ahead. Everyone goes single file through at the moment. Hopefully they keep it clean. Meerveld gets a great start. Jimmy Holm on the attack as well. 4 wide in the back. Can't see any yellow flags. Everyone seems to be pretty good there, but at the front, everyone has jumped into this long queue, and it's absolutely flying. Everyone through turn 1 and 2 cleanly. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Great to see. Can we keep it a nice, clean, full lap? Oh, there's yellow flags further back. That was kind of a 31 bit. Meerveld holding on to his position. It is now, though, a bit of squabbling going on. Deleubre having to hold on to his position against Jimmy Holm. He is just about doing it for now, but it is already getting very, very close. Having some overlaps further back as well. Fernandez and Bjorkvist having a little bit of a fight there with Meegans. So far so good. We did see a brief yellow flag there a little bit further back. I'm not sure entirely what that was for, but now Meegans versus this is Bjorkvist. So Bjorkvist has come up through the grid affair, but he is out wide there though. He's going to try and get across. Oh, there's a bump. There's 2 bumps. BMW sideways. Vining just about manages to avoid that. That was so close. That one I think is going to need a little quick jump back. We're trying to see that's how close that was. Amazingly, not too many major issues there. The BMW luckily rotating and moving out of the way. But that is about as close to it all going wrong as it possibly could. Kondoborov already into the pits. So whether or not they got caught up in something, I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure we saw yellow flag that driver earlier on going up the hill. No way. I've just seen Ryan Cooper up into 17th place already, flying forward. Also Summerun as well, having a great lap up into 16th place, and in fact now having a little look down towards the bus stop. Is he going to try and go around the outside under braking? Not going to be able to against the Jeckers. Oh, incident in front. That's Mr. Jones round. And immediately, we've just seen as Luca has jumped into the pits, maybe trying to get away from this mad pack of drivers. Kind of at 84 with the yellow flag at turn 1. He's sideways. It's a really dodgy spot to be. A couple of cars getting spun there as well. A little bit choppy, lads. A little bit choppy. Mr. Jones with an incredibly wide line there down at turn 1. Not entirely sure what that one was. Let's see if we can jump back and see what actually happened with car number 84. Because that was slightly odd. Not sure what happened there. Where is car number 84 gone on my list? Car number 84. That was Bouquet. And Bouquet was having an amazing race up to this point. So, we just missed the incident that actually happened. Does he get caught again? No, he doesn't. He holds on the brakes. That is the right thing to do. You might be thinking to yourself, oh, I need to get out of the way as quickly as possible. But no, worst thing you can do is try to move because you're unpredictable. So he did exactly the right thing. Gets the car going. But he is now right towards the back of the grid. So he should be back on the live timing in just a second or two. So here we go, live images once again. Meerveld holding onto it for now. It is mightily close though. This little battle going on further back as well. Azami versus Nesterov versus Clifford. There's an even tighter one going on. There is side-by-side action. Benjamin King, Mr. Jones, Kristinich, all of them squabbling it out. You've got Cooper and Lejek is in front of them. In fact, where is he gone? Because he is showing up 14th place, but I'm not sure he is. Ryan Cooper is... oh, dropping down to 18th place, 20th place. So not sure what has gone on there. He has tumbled down the order. We didn't see exactly what happened. Meerveld under attack now though. Delurba right on the back of him. Super close. He's very much under attack. But now, Meerveld does manage to hold on to his pole position. But it is it's getting mightily close for that driver. There is not a great deal he can do apart from just try and hold on to it. Fingers crossed he can do. Delurba right on the back of him still, not giving up the fight. He will want to take this position away. He will want pole position. Championship-wise, isn't really going to make too much difference, but it is the glory of it all, should we say. It's the glory of everything. You want it as much as you possibly can. So if you head over to our pit wall, you should be able to still see the live timing. Sadly, there has been an update recently, which means that we can no longer embed the YouTube video into that. Or at least not for this season, but there's only one round left to go, so things may change. We've got a nice little one coming on here. So this appears to be... it's saying Bining and... Luca, but I don't think it is. Those two are not the same match. I think, I think Luca is obviously, he's a lap down because he did his pits, didn't he? So, although it's showing them very close together, that is not technically a race going on there. Jump back on board with our leaders. First and second, Meerveld versus Delurba. Again, Delurba looking right to the inside, very, very much aggressively putting his nose down the inside and sort of saying, go on, let me through. But not being able to. While these two are squabbling, Jimmy Holm has been able to close back up on them significantly as well. So there we go, the pit wall link, the timing link up at the top of the chat has now been pinned there, so it should be accessible all race long. Just the case of giving it a quick click and you get some extra details. But now a move at the end of the camera, wanting to see anything? No, we're not. Doesn't manage to get it done this time round. But Delurba definitely looking like the aggressor and faster of these two drivers. Meegans has now set the fastest lap of the race. Incident going on a bit further back. We've got the Ferrari Panda team going up the inside. This is Azami. Side by side. He's not there, but he's going to be inside here. He just, I think he's got on the brakes and sort of abandoned the move. And Summerun taking advantage now. It's going to be on the inside. This is going to have Brussels. Can he do anything? They're still side by side. Neither of them giving up. Both giving each other a little bit of room. But I now think Summerun has managed to make it through And position is made, and I think Azami was a little bit annoyed about that and a little bit of a flash of the lights, but I don't think there was anything more than a little bit of paint sharing going on there from what I could see. Bjorkvist in 6th place at the moment, but he has got Meegans, our fastest driver, on track, thundering up behind him. Meegans is set at 2:19.580 at the moment, so that is our fastest driver there. On board with Ryan Cooper, who is back in 20th place, being chased down by Bouquet. One of those things where Ryan Cooper doesn't really need to finish or do anything this evening. He pretty much just showed up so he can have a post-race interview, I think. So, Igor Kristinic being chased down by Benjamin King, Ferrari versus BMW. They've got Mr. Jones as well, having a look around the inside. Not able to do anything there, he's too far back. But God, did they have a close-up on the Jackers then on the braking. Absolutely decimated that gap they had between them. There is nothing between them at all now. Were compromised on the exit. They weren't as quick as the Checkers away. That rear-engined Porsche does have the advantage. It's got all that extra built-in grip with having the extra weight of the rear tyres. Meerveld again having a good squabble up towards Lacoon. Not able to do anything. Jimmy Holm is just sitting back and watching this, and he is probably thinking to himself, come on you two, make a mistake, let me through. And then he can definitely hold on for 2nd place in the championship. Just needs the tiniest little mistake from these two. Now let's see if we jump on board with Jimmy Holm on his dash. You can see the battle unfolding in front of him. Versus Meerveld. That is what we're watching from the point of view of Jimmy Holm. Just to the right of Jimmy Holm, the in-cockpit camera. We now see Meerveld is definitely going defensive. Are they going to be side by side? Yeah, Delurba trying to go right all the way around the outside. And we have the inside for the second part. He's got it, but he hasn't managed to get ahead. And in fact, Meerveld now has managed to pull away again, and he's just going to get the door shut. Yes, he is. Jimmy Holm now trying to get a bit of a run. Not able to. I thought there was always going to be a bump, but not quite. This had allowed Jimmy Holm to catch right up onto the back of them. There is nothing between them at all. And Meerveld is starting to look like a sausage dog at a dog park. Oh, big moment there for Jimmy Holm. A whole bunch of opposite lock through Blanchimont. That is not what you want to be happening. Somehow did not lose the car and fantastically managed to hold on to the back of him pretty well. We thought we were going to see him drop back further than that, but goodness gracious, he did manage to hold it. And on the battle continues. You can see as well inside this top 10. Lots of little close thing going on. Going further back, this is Lejekas, Kristinic, Benjamin King, and Jones. And I think also Walter Billen, who started in last place, up to 17th. So that's a really good jump up the order for that driver. Nothing too crazy going on with strategies. A couple of people have pitted already, but I think some of those were damage related. Luca in the 199 Porsche, he pitted very, very early. Again, I think that was just simply because he was absolutely swamped with cars. We've seen Luca do some incredibly late pits, but very rarely we see him do an insanely early pit. So maybe this is a bit of a, last season. Oh, on the inside, car number 4 going through. Kristinic, oh, and Lejekas. To be honest, not entirely sure what happened there. Let's just go back on that one. So this is going back. This is the bottom of the Camel Straight. They've just come through Radion. Up through, obviously, Eau Rouge. Now up the Camel Straight. And that all seemed to just start to go a little bit Pete Tong for everyone there. So it was just a coming together with it looked like Benjamin King and Lejekas. I think Lejekas went a little bit deep and then was trying to sort of recover from it. Oh, and something else has just happened there. Let's see if we can spot that. Does he get a bit of a bump? It looks like Walter Billen goes to the inside, unsettles. Both of them managed to recover from that fairly well. I think Walter Billen, is he still circulating? Yes, he is. So he lost a fair decent amount of track time, but didn't lose the position. Quickly jumping aboard the drone camera, you can see as they go down towards the final turn again, and you can see Jimmy Holmes sneaking around the back. He knows he is a heat-seeking missile, that man. He's looking at those rear exhausts and thinking, yes, I can spot you. I know what's coming. He's hoping that these two are going to push themselves into a mistake. I've just noticed as well, it's nearly 15 minutes of the race done, and the track is still somehow green, which is quite surprising. I mean, it is quite a long circuit. There is only 25 cars out there, but still surprising to see the track still in the green condition. I thought we would have at least maybe pushed on beyond that. Well, we would have at least gone to fast. That would explain the lap time as well, being a little bit slower than we would have expected to see. Once again, we go towards the top. Delurba's got a decent run. Is he going to look to the inside? Yes, he does. But under brakes, can he do anything? No, he can't. Once again, they start another lap in the same order they already were. And it is absolutely mind-destroying being stuck behind a car that you, in all fairness, you feel like you are quicker. But if you just can't quite do it, there's nothing quite as bad as that. I'm just seeing a little shout out coming in on the chat there for kind of 524, and I believe that is, he was on my screen just a moment ago and now I've lost him. I believe that's Vining, isn't it? Yes, it is. Chris Vining, who is running in 8th place, got a nice little gap in front of him. He has got Luca behind him, but Luca is essentially a lap down as he did a very, very early pit stop. Over that rear wing, you can get a bit of an idea. So at the moment, Luca, this is not a race for position. Track is finally gone fast as well. This is not a position. As Luca has done that pit very, very early on. Jumping back on board with the lead battle. Once again, it is all fired up and ready to go. Are we going to see anything different here? Looks like we've got a little bit of an overlap, possibly. We're almost trying to go up the inside for Bonchemont, which is absolutely ridiculous. This is the closest Delurba has ever been, though, going down towards the bus stop. Can't get it done. Jimmy Holm right at the back of it as well now. It's all going to get mighty close and toasty, I think. Oh, there was a yellow flag. Who was that? That was one of the BMWs. I think that was Vujanovic. It was. So Vujanovic went round. Let's see if we can spot what happened. Oh, I think that might have been a coming together with Bjorkvist there. Can't say for definite on that one, but by the positions of the cars, I can't really see that being anything other than maybe a little bump. With this lead battle going on, I think the real winners in this situation are going to be Holm and Fernandez. Holm is still hanging on to the back of them. Fernandez as well is now caught back up with them. Fernandez in 11th place in the championship, so he should be able to get himself inside the top 10 if he can finish all the way up here in 4th place. Meegans, who is a little bit further back, has still claimed the fastest lap of the race, but obviously is significantly further back in track position. And Meegans is now fully under attack from Chris Vining. This battle kind of came out of nowhere. For a little while he was actually on his own. Meegans has lost a lot of place. He's 3 seconds down this lap. So what has happened there? 3 seconds is an absolute age when it comes to GT3 racing. So track is, as we said, is finally gone fast now. 34 degrees. Vining is going to be looking to get past Meegans as quick as he possibly can, if he can. This nice little squabble we're starting to see here. Jodovic isn't that far back from this group either still, so definitely still one to keep an eye on. Let's have a little look over that rear wing. As if you can't tell, this is definitely my favourite camera. Looking over that Inflex Racing, lovely sign written rear wing there. Closing right up on him as they go for the chicane. Who is going to get the better exit here? I think Vining did get a slightly better exit. Oh, Delurbre has lost the position. He is down. When did that happen? Can we get this? Oh, so this happened further earlier on in the lap. Annoyingly, we missed that one. But Delurbre down into 3rd place. Jimmy Holm has taken that position away from him, so thank you very much. I will take that one. Continuing on, Megan's now coming up towards the end of the Kemmel. Chris Vining not able to make any ground there. Luca has just dropped off that little bit. Nestorov, here's a nice little battle going on though. Clifford versus Nestorov. It's Ferrari versus Lamborghini, car number 46 versus the 999 of Jonathan Clifford. Realistically, Nestorov would have wanted to finish in front of Jimmy Holm, but I think he's going to struggle to do that now. Just about 20 minutes of the race done, 40 to go. It's just looking pretty grey and miserable out there at the moment. There is no rain, and there's no rain on the horizon, so in about 10 minutes' time we'll know if there is going to be any wet at all towards the end of the race. I would love it if we randomly got a little wet right at the end. Oh, Megan's has lost the position. Let's jump back. We need to catch that one. So Vining versus Megan's. This is coming down the hill. We're going to see here as he throws it in. Is it a mistake here from Megan's? I think the Mercedes just had the legs, or whether he goes for it under braking, I'm not sure. Yes, under braking he looks. Megan's gives room, and I think that completely throws him off his line. He loses pace, so then absolutely storms on through goes Vining. Luca, obviously, technically, again, not the position of the Megans, but he won't want to get caught up. He'll want to be trying to make the most of that early pit stop. He'll want as much clean air as he possibly can. The longer he is stuck there, the worse that is going to be for him overall in the championship. And for his advantage here, he will want to try and get as much clean air as possible. And already Vining pulling away from Megan's. Watch them up through here. Tyres being absolutely tortured, stretched to the absolute limit of adhesion. So Nestorov versus Clifford, that appears to have opened up just a little bit, not massively. The battle certainly has calmed down just a little bit. Summerun is into the pits now. Ten Brinker having a little squabble. Or is he? No, he's not. This is one of those annoying things with the timing board, is saying this is a battle, but it is not. That's Ryan Cooper, who is in 17th place. Ten Brinker in 23rd place. Ten Brinker has pitted. Obviously, Mr. Ryan Cooper has not pitted yet. People sort of dropping off their lap times a little bit at the moment. The only person who is actively improving sort of further up the grid inside the top 10 is Chris Vining, who now he has been released from the back of Megan's, is being able to push forward quite significantly. Orin Megan's still under attack from Luca, but I'm not sure we're going to see a big move at any point. Nestorov versus Clifford. It looks like Clifford is struggling to hold on to the back of him. There's still only about half a second between them, which is pretty much nothing. But it is still open. Tadic in the number 1 Ferrari has now set the fastest lap of the race. He's all the way back in 20th place, but he's just put in a 2:19.4. He has pitted, so presumably that is, you know, a lot of fuel has been burnt with a brand new fresh set of tyres. Bjorkfist has come into the pits now as well. Let's jump back on board with this one. Keep a bit of a close eye on it. In fact, let's go to Jonathan Clifford. Let's jump on. That's the wrong one. It's that one there. The dashboard. Oh, big jump of the car. Very unsettled through a Rouge, but did manage to hold it together. Even though he's in the toe of that Ferrari, got the Ferrari moving very aggressively back onto the racing line, trying to break that toe. Both on the brakes, throw it into the coom. Much tighter line there from Clifford. He will be actually stretching, and there's going to be rain. There's going to be rain in the last 5 minutes of the race. 100% there is going to be a bit of a wet finish. So everything that people have worked for could possibly change. It's going to be very interesting now. Anyone that hasn't pitted, they could try and leave it as late as possible and see when the rain is going to come. Obviously, if it comes and there's a full 5 minutes left, that is essentially 2, maybe 3 laps. So depending on how hard it is, you might want wet tyres. But you'd be very surprised. The track is only fast, so it'll probably go back to green and then greasy pretty quickly. But whether or not it'll do that within that time at the end of the race, I'm not sure. It's really going to depend on how much rain does fall. But as we can see, the weather report, the weather gods are smiting us. In the final round of Apex Online Racing, they have said you will not have a dry spar. It will be wet, it will be dangerous, it will be wild all towards the end of the race. Again, having a nice little squabble. Jimmy Holm has found a bit more pace. It's brought back. Oh no, in fact, Jimmy Holm had found some pace and then immediately jumps into the pits. So I will eat my words on that one. Holm into the pits. He is pitted before the rest of them. He is the first of our sort of big top of the grid cars that has jumped into the pits. So it's going to be a case of see where he comes out in comparison. Megan's in, Nestorov into the pits as well. But this rain at the end could make all the difference. Now, the gaps have opened up a little bit due to these pit stops. This is probably our closest one at the moment. Azami versus Mr. Jones. And Mr. Jones with absolute flyer up through there. Goodness gracious, where on earth did he find all that speed? Looking over the rear wing, you can see the Aston does have the overspeed. Is he going to have enough to get there? He looks to the inside, can't get it done under braking there. But looking very, very quick. He's right on the back of the Ferrari. I think there might have been the slightest touch then. Just a little peck. Not a big hit, but just a small peck between those two. We've also then got Lejekas and Bouquet in the matching Porsches, racing pretty hard behind as well. Ferrari Panda team versus Mr. Jones. I think Mr. Jones is just racing for the team. Jones team, there we go. So, yeah, an original name, we'll say that anyway. Ferrari Panda team. It does slightly remind me of Mad Panda Motorsport. So they obviously, in my opinion, are fantastic. This team, kind of a 66. So Lejekas versus Bouquet. That one's still raging on. It's pretty much like someone's holding up a mirror. It's just the exact same car, the exact same livery. Nothing like making it easy for me, hey gents? Right, So Meerveld is in the pit, so is Vujanovic, so is Jonathan Clifford. So this is where the big bulk of stuff seems to be happening. Possible side-by-side moment here for the twin Porsches. They both stay out. Well, I mean, they both... No, they haven't. Neither of them are pitted, actually. So this is just on pace alone, these two cars. Zami jumped into the pits. There you can see our leader going through. So the one to keep an eye on here is going to be Jimmy Holm to see whereabouts he comes out. He is currently sort of just about to come into sector 3. We're going to keep an eye on this sort of squabble, but also keep a little eye on Jimmy Holm, and we're going to jump on board with him as he comes across the line to see if he can jump ahead of Meerveld, that car number 29. It's Porsche versus Porsche, Grello versus Grello. Fantastic looking cars. And they have changed positions. It took me a little while to make sure I had the numbers in the right place. But yes, Bouquet is now in front of Lead Checkers. Right, Jimmy Holm has just come through the bus stop. And whereabouts is our leader, Meerveld? He's still in the pit for now. He's still up on the jacks as well. He is down on the floor now. But I don't think it's going to be enough. Jimmy Holm, I think, is possibly going to take the lead here. Car number 29. No, I think he's going to have the run. He's going to have enough speed. I think he's just about going to jump out. It's really going to depend on what that pit exit was like. Can he do anything? I think it might be the closest they've been yet. But I think Meerveld is just going to have the legs, and he should be able to get to the top of the straight. Looks to the inside. No, doesn't do it. But obviously Jimmy Holm is on. He's got warmer tyres. They'll be up to temperature. He would have known what the track feels like at the moment. Obviously, Meerveld, this is his first time out. Fresh tyres. They won't be up to temperature. They won't be providing full grip, and obviously as well, if he absolutely guns these tyres at the very beginning of the stint, they might start to feel pretty packed before the end of the stint, and he might end up losing pace when they start going through the grading stage. Now you can sort of work your way through that and the tyres will come back, but I don't think he's going to have enough time for that. But there is a high possibility if he is out there now giving it absolutely everything to hold off the homing missile, and homing missile looks to the inside under braking. They give each other room. It is super close. Meerveld going to be able to hang on to it. Holm's going to try and go all the way around the outside. Can't do it. The car gets unsettled. Don't think there was any contact there. I think it was just a case of trying to swing the car across and slow it down at the same time. The car did just step to the right hand side a fair bit. Well recovered. This is probably going to be his last chance to get past easily, or easier should we say. He's going to have to do a decent run all the way down to the bus stop and see if those warmer tyres are going to be able to outbrake Meerveld. He was very quick there. He is going to be on the inside of the bus stop. They both brake as late as they possibly can. How on earth Meerveld got the car stopped then? I will never know. Goes for a little bit of a switchback. Doesn't work. Meerveld has now had that full lap to get the tyres at the temperature. Those tyres should be pretty close to what he would have wanted. Gonna have to see how everything in the pit works. Deleubre is still in the pit. He was up in this battle as well, obviously. Is he left the pits yet? Let's see. He is on the hill. It looks like Deleubre is probably going to be the big winner here, and actually going to take away pole position. Yes, he. Just. He's probably going to want to stick really close to that right-hand side of the track. But here comes Meerveld thundering up beside him. And here comes Jimmy Holm as well. Going to try and go around the outside. Yes, he can. They're both on those much, much warmer tyres. And Deleubre now drops back in. But he is very, very close to the back of this pack. So our top three pitted drivers now absolutely neck and neck with 27.5 minutes of the race left to go. It is all kicking off. It is getting heated out on the track. The rain should be coming towards the very end of this race, and I imagine Meerveld is probably thinking to himself, I just want to get away, I just want to open up a little bit of a gap, have some breathing room, so when the rain comes he hasn't got to be giving it 11 tenths, but no chance at all. Jimmy Holm, he wants that pole position, he wants to take it away. Obviously this is just theoretical at the moment. Walter Billen, Lejekas and Fernandez have not pitted, so on the road Fernandez is technically our leader in the winning Rush GP car. Car number 223, a lovely liveried BMW, that one. Lejekas in one of the Grello Porsches. And car number 56, and then Walter Billen, who started right at the back, enjoying a little bit of time in the Weeshite car. Car number 183, currently running in third place on track. Obviously, those three cars have not pitted, whereas the rest of the field have now. Everyone else is fairly well spread out. These three just absolutely nose to tail. There is nothing between these. Get a little bit of that over the rear wing shot as they come up through. So that's turn one. It's now a bit of a sprint down the hill before you start the scariest set of corners that I think have ever existed in all of motorsport. They've spread out a fair bit here actually. The Meerveld had a really good run off the turn one. Holm was slightly better than Delebra, but significantly worse than Meerveld. So for the first time, Meerveld actually has a little bit of a run where he can get away and maybe start to work on that gap slightly. I'm just seeing it here. Toro Grosso in the chat saying that winning Rush is gambling for the win. Well, their lap time's on. Terrible compared to everyone else. I think let us cook. I'm just seeing that one. So yeah, we'll have to see how that one goes. They're a fair way ahead, gotta be said. They are monstrously far ahead of everyone else. They're about half a lap in front. 24 minutes of the race left to go. They're still out there. What was that? 2:19.8 was the last time round. The best is 2:19.7, so only 1/100th of a second slower than what we've seen from them before. So certainly not a bad race for these guys whatsoever. And Kelvin Lejekas is now being caught up by Walter Billen. This is for second and third on the road. Bouquet is now caught over the back of Summerun. Again, as we were saying, that car is much slower than we normally see. That 22 Ferrari seems to be having pedal issues earlier on today. And I think it was kind of a case of just see what they can do and try and get through the day. But it's certainly affecting the pace. They are significantly down. There was a 2:20 last time round for them. To Bill and Lejekas, that's still raging on as well. Oh, and Bouquet does go through. Let's see if we can catch that one. Where did that happen? That, I'm gonna say, was probably at the bus stop, or did we cut away just as the move happened towards Boschemont? So this is Boschemont, flat out. And by the looks of it, it was just Bouquet was just a little bit stronger there through Boschemont and managed to get the move done. Oh, flying. It looked like it was with 3 wheels for a brief moment there as he came flying up the hill. Then Bjorkvist is down under attack from Meegans as well. That nice little battle coming along. Right, so Meegans versus Bjorkvist continues on. Sorry about the little break there, slight technical issue on my end. So Fernandez, Billen and Lejekas have still not pitted. Less than 20 minutes of the race left to go. Chris Vining is now starting to catch up with this little battle that we got on screen as well now. Jumping back on board with our leading pitted driver of Mirville, Jimmy Holm, has now set the fastest lap. Delubra seems to be dropping off the back of this little pack a little bit. This is Nestorov versus Clifford, who we saw earlier on. Clifford now really on the attack. Decent run, looks up the inside, can't get it done. Wasn't quite brave enough to put it there. And say, to be fair, Nestorov was really trying to close the door off. Right, it is starting to look like it is going to be properly wet towards the end. I can only imagine that the three drivers that haven't pitted are going to try and risk it and go onto wet. It has to be the only sort of thing I can think of. Tadic into the pits. I think that driver had already pitted, so surprised to see them pitting again. Pretty sure they had already pitted. It is showing that they have completed it. Oh, there we go, Toro Grosso as well. Again, just saying that they are gambling it. So I think that's what they're going for. They're going to try and stick it on wets and see what happens. That could be the only thing to go for. Toro Grosso laying out a few big secrets there. So this is going to be the big one. This is the winning Rush GP car. This is Fernandez. We're going to have to see what he does. He is so far ahead of the competition. Still doing 219s out there. Realistically, it is only the top three drivers that are outside of that. So we've got Meerveld, Holm and Delubra are all outlapping him at the moment. But if it does rain, they're already on not just slicks, warm slicks. The track has gone optimum. At long last, the track has gone optimum. It's only taken to 45 minutes. Or who is into the pit here? That's Tadic there. So yeah, we saw him in the pit earlier. So not sure what the plan is there. And car number 31 as well is in the pit. 31 was Askondoborov in the pit, Brinker in the pit, and Tadic in the pit. So a few cars have come in. But our top three drivers on track have still not pitted yet. So that is Fernandez, Billen, and Lejekas. They are all trying to take it to the very end, or at least to when the rain starts. If this works for them, this is going to be an absolute genius move, isn't it? If this does actually work for them, this will be absolutely astounding. If it doesn't, it'll be a huge shame, but I'm kind of rooting for these three now. So continuing on, Nestorov versus Clifford. Clifford again looks to the inside, not quite close enough to do anything there. Nestorov can just brake as normal, take his average line and go on through. Still no sign of a wet yet, but it could be coming sort of at any time now, really. It's not always an exact science. It's looking like it's going to be fairly wet when it does come down. Now it stays dry. Everyone is still just continuing to squabble onwards. Meegans as well, having a nice little battle. Still that continues on. 0.4 between those two drivers. Only 0.2 between these two. So let's jump on board with Clifford. That should be... Oh, I got the wrong one. There it is. That is the dashboard view that we have. You can see the grey clouds looming above. realistically, any moment now we're going to see the rain start to fall. This is the thing as well, if people do wait until the rain starts to do their pit stops, everyone else on track is going to get slower as well, so they'll lose less track position in the pit stops, even if their pace isn't as quick when they leave. So they could end up gaining something out of that as well. It really depends on how well their tyres have lasted. It's now 220s for Fernandez compared to mid-218s for Meerveld, Holm and Delabra, so there's a bit of ground to be made up. 12.5 minutes left of the race. Still no sign of the rain yet. At this point, you can only imagine that our top 3 cars on track are starting to get a little bit itchy, wanting to pit, wanting to get it done. They probably know they are losing time lap per lap. Still no rain yet as they now come hard on the brakes down towards the bus stop. 12 minutes exactly left to go, and currently still no rain. I wonder if it is going to pretty much be bang on the 10-minute mark that we get this rain. It's coming, and it is, when it does come, it is inevitably going to make things very, very sketchy. It's going to be very interesting to see what part of the circuit you're on when this rain starts to fall. So this is Meerveld being chased down by Holm, and Holm has closed up the gap. Holm was 0.2 of a second quicker last time round. Only imagine that Holm is desperate to get this done before the rain starts. Oh, a bit of a power slide there we just saw. It's not raining yet. We're getting very, very close to it though. Again, Meerveld looking unsettled. Is that in front of us? No, it's not Fernandez. Completely ignore what I just said. 10 minutes, 47 seconds left of the race. It's still very, very close. They know the rain is coming. They would have known. They would have had the track. They would have had the weather warnings at the top of their heads-up displays. Time now we're going to see the rain start to fall. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens to people's lap times. Meerveld and Holm slowing each other down slightly now, not massively, but they are slowing each other down. Fernandez had a good last time round. He was back into the 219s, so obviously pushing pretty hard to try and get it. It's going to be quite hilarious if literally the rain does come in 3, 2, 1. Can't see anything on the windscreens yet. It should be here though. It should be here any second. But it means there's really not going to be much time for it to be wet. It's the later the rain comes, the better chance you have of surviving on slick tyres. It is going to be very, very close. The track is still optimum at the moment. I'm seeing here in the chat, 1 minute to rain, 9:01 is when they reckon it's going to happen, 9:01. Let's jump on the dash. So we're reckoning 9:01, are we? 3, 2, 1. There's no rain yet. This is intense. Still no rain. Clifford goes to the outside now. Going to try and go round. Can he get it done? He's going to have the door closed on him a little bit. Not quite. A little bit of a gap left up the inside there, but not enough. Just couldn't quite get the car there. 8.5 minutes left to go. Still no rain. Daniel Fernandez again doing a 220. Meerveld has been doing 218s. So has Holm and Delabra, and so has Meegans. So at this point he is being outlapped second by second. Jumping on board with him. really he wants it to start raining right near the end of his lap so he can jump in, immediately get the wets, and then go out there and try and make the best of it. But 8 minutes left of the race. Still no sign of the wet stuff yet. Walter Billen running in 2nd place on the track. Another driver stretching it all the way to the end, hoping to possibly be able to take advantage of wet tyres. Lejeka's also on that same strategy, I can only presume. And they've got Meerveld, Jimmy Holm and De Lebre are top 3 drivers on the circuit at the moment. They are still so close. The rain is going to go. Here it is. The rain is in. The rain is in. Where is Fernandez? He is just coming towards the end of Sector 2. So we can only imagine what's going to happen to people's laps now. But here we are. We are keeping an eye on this, the lead 3. This is the first time they're going to be going up through. The track's already gone to green. It has dropped down to green so incredibly quickly. And they go up through Eau Rouge for the first time, and Radion, are they all going to survive? Yes, they are. So they are making it through, but their lap times are tumbling down. Fernandez's time as well, obviously tumbling. But he gets to pit. He gets to pit quite soon as well. It's not going to be very long. I can't realistically see him leaving the pits in front of these drivers, but their lap times are going to continue to fall, and his are only ever going to get quicker. Here, the track is now greasy already, so it's not going to take long for it to go wet at all. Fernandez is going to have the pit stop of a lifetime, and he is coming in. You can only imagine Billen is going to do the same, but he's a long old way back in comparison. We're going to stick on board with this lead battle. In fact, let's have a little jump back. This is Bjorkvist versus Vining. These cars are beginning to struggle, and I think actually the GTR might really struggle in the wet. It's such a tyre-dependent car. It doesn't have the sophisticated aero package that these more modern GT3s have. Zami and Bouquet. This was all kicking off, and Mr. Jones as well on the back of them. Again, these cars are all clad in slick tyres, and you can see there the Ferrari Panda team getting a little bit unsettled. Where is Meerveld in comparison to the 223 car? Has Fernandez even stopped yet? He hasn't. He's still going. This is the pain of Spa. It's the world's longest pit stop. It just goes on forever and ever. You just feel like you're never going to get to the end of it. And he hasn't stopped yet. He's coming across. He's going to be into his pit stop. So almost certainly going to get overtaken here. It's going to be a case of what happens. Looking at the lap times, they have dropped by over 5 seconds for these guys. The track is greasy. It's only going to be continuing to rain for the next 5 minutes. But it's so late in the race that Fernandez is realistically only going to have a lap or two actually on a flyer. Fernandez is still on the jacks at the moment. Meerveld is going to come thundering past. I don't think it's going to have worked this time. I think it was just too late in the race. Don't think there was quite enough. He's still there. Through go the other guys. Fernandez has been released, but he is going to be a long way back. It was a great strategy, but I don't think it's going to quite work out the way they want it to. So this little nice one going on here, this is still Holm versus Meerveld. Looking like maybe Holm is a little bit more comfortable in the wet. The squabble rages on between them. Let's see whereabouts Fernandez has come out. So Fernandez is in second. He's got 2 cars in front of him. He's got Bjorkvist and then Vining, but again, he is the only car on wet tyres. So realistically, he should be able to make his way through these drivers pretty quickly. Walter Billen obviously dropped right back as well, and the Jackers has dropped right back. It's really going to be a case of whether or not he can be brave enough to get through. You can see he's pushing those tyres hard. He's really stretching the adhesion of those cold tyres. They won't be up to temperature yet. I think this is going to be their second to last lap, so they'll have one more after this. really going to depend on what time it is when they cross the line. It's going to be very close. It's at least 1, if not maybe 2 laps left to go. The Givry Blanchimont is where it's going to really work. Can Fernandez get the grip and push on through? He's right at the back of Bjorkqvist. Bjorkqvist is going defensive, but he will know he's not going to have anywhere near as much grip as Fernandez. Fernandez does look to the inside a little bit here. He's going to have the run. He won't have to brake anywhere near as much, and he's going to be able to brake so much later now. Surely he's going to be out about brake the GTR. He gets on the brakes. Somehow he didn't outbrake it, but he does get up the inside. Brilliant move. Uses that extra grip of those wet tyres and gets the move done, and he's just squeezed in front. Just about manages to do it. The battle continuing on up the front as well. Still 0.7 of a second between them. Megan's chasing up the back of Vining now. This is Fernandez. We are going to get this and one more looking at it. There should be just enough to get the drivers through, although maybe. It's going to be very close. This could be Fernandez's last lap, and if that's the case, he is definitely not come away from this as he wanted to, but technically he could gain 2 more positions here. He could end up in 4th place if he can get onto the back of Megan's and Vining. Fernandez is quicker than them. His lap time is significantly better than those two. He's only 1 second down this lap time. Obviously now it's wet compared to well over 2 seconds for the 2 drivers in front. The rain continuing to go. It is now damp, so the track is getting even more slippery out there. Ambient temperatures dropped a whole degree as well, up to 33 degrees. It's going to be a case of Fernandez has just got to be ultra brave and try and take away the positions under braking. He's going to feel like he's driving a totally different car compared to everyone else. He's got a decent run there. The tyres grip up even on the wet paint. Looks down the inside. He's going to be there. Megan's leaves him room, and Megan's sliding out wide. Don't think there was any contact there, but that's another position gained. Fernandez up to 5th place. We might just see another lap out of this. Fernandez is going to be giving it everything now, going after the back of Vining. Vining obviously running in 4th place. Fernandez will want that position. You can see how hard the wipers are working to try and keep the cars stuck. Oh, sorry, to try and keep the windscreen clear. Those wet tyres doing a great job of keeping the car stuck to the road. Going to be very, very close whether we have another lap or not. Meerveld is coming towards the line as we speak. Fernandez is not close enough to do it. I think we're going to get one more. He's running towards the line now, foot flat before he can't afford to give up. Yes, so we've got one more to go. We have one more lap to go. It's going to be mightily, mightily close. So Fernandez, can he do it? Can he get past Vining? This is the final lap of the race. Fernandez has to keep pushing. He technically can do this. In these wet sections is where he's going to have just the absolute advantage. Just not catching up with the back of Vining the way we thought he would. Vining, to be fair, running fairly well in the wet, although now through there he lost a fairly decent amount of time. Still only about half a second between them. Yeah, seeing Toro Grosso saying that they did try to run this risky manoeuvre, but I still think if they can get 4th place, that still works out pretty well for them. It's still a decent jump up the order. We've got battles going on further back. This is Clifford versus Bajanovic. They're side by side. Clifford trying to go all the way around the outside. And yes, gets it done. Big, big brave move on the brakes there. And in the wet as well, to get that car to stick off the racing line. That was fair play to that driver. Really well done. And now just got to try and hold onto it a little bit longer. Fernandez, he is catching the back of Vining, but it's going to take a little bit of a mistake from Vining in the wet to truly open this up. Amazingly though, Meerveld, Holm and Delurba are still doing fairly decent laps. They're doing 2:31s out there. Fernandez doing 2:29, so only 2 seconds between them. You can see if the rain had come earlier how much gain he would have had, but it's just too late. Sort of 2.5 laps of racing, which is not going to be enough to be able to get the car hooked up on them wets and really take advantage. At the moment, people are still going to have temperature in those slick tyres. They should still just about to be hold on to it. We're going to jump on with our leader for now, Meerveld, as he comes across the line. 2 corners left to go. There's 1. There's 2. Can he get the power down on the exit? Yes, he can. It's a bit squirrely, but the car is on the go. Big run to the line, and there we go. Meerveld comes across the line in pole position. Jimmy Holmes 2nd. Delebra 3rd. Vining 4th. Fernandez up into 5th place. Jump back a little bit. We see Jonathan Clifford, who had a great little run there. Jonovic versus Nestorov. Who's going to get the better run? Nestorov desperately trying to get past. Jonovic not having a good time in the rain. He dropped right back on his times. Nice squabbles going on here. Got Bouquet versus Mr. Jones. And also Kristanic, who has a really bad exit. And he might lose 2 positions in 1 corner. I think he does. Yeah, Kristanic down to 14th place. He'll be devastated with that. It was just a bad exit. Ryan Cooper having a big old squirrely squabble. Does get in front of the Jackers. But it doesn't matter. He's won the championship anyway. There we go, straight into the wall to celebrate. So our winner on the track was Meerveld, followed by Jimmy Holm, followed by Delebra. But the championship winner is Ryan Cooper. It really hasn't sort of been in any way under question for a little while now, has it? He's been dominating absolutely fantastically. So hopefully we're going to get drivers in for a nice little chat. That would be very, very nice if people could. Fingers crossed someone is brave enough to come in and join me. It would be lovely to get a chance to chat with them. We're always friendly in the booth. We're never that scary. Well, maybe a little bit scary from time to time, but not that scary. Oh, we're going to get someone. Come on. Come on. Come and join me in the booth. It just, you know you want to. Well, while we wait to see if anyone is brave enough, there we go. Jimmy Holm. He was brave enough. Fantastic. And we will get Jimmy Holm in just a second. Let's just get the results up on the screen so we can get a nice little copy of that one. Anyone else willing to join us? Not as of yet. So we'll jump on board with Jimmy Holm. Let's grab him into the Discord. A million things going on my screen at once, and none of it is doing what I want it to do, which is always fantastic. Right, there is the... Let's go to that one. That's a bit prettier to look at. Get the Discord going. Where's he gone? Where's Jimmy Holm? Here he is. Now we've got him. Jimmy Holm, good evening, sir. Welcome along to the commentary booth on the final round. Great finish for you. 2nd place. Did the race go as you planned, or were you really expecting to get 1st place?
I'm a bit disappointed, to be honest. I thought I had a bit more pace from practice, but just didn't happen in the race. Can't say I didn't try, at least. I really did my best to get past them.
Yeah, I mean, it was super close racing between you the entire race. There was plenty of opportunities. I think it was you and Delebra as well as Meerveld. All 3 of you sort of were squabbling it out. It was always kind of a case of if one of you made a mistake, one of you was going to gain a position. But realistically, it seemed pretty tidy between all of you for the entire time. Even when the rain came, your pace didn't really drop off that much. I think you lost about, I think it was about 2 seconds a lap you guys were losing, and other people around you were losing sort of, you know, well above 3 to 4 seconds a lap. So even with that last minute rain, it all got a little bit sketchy. Were you a bit nervous when you saw that Fernandez was staying out, seemingly chasing the wet weather to put on a set of wet tyres?
No, not really. I think the best strategy because of the heat was just to pit around the middle. It was quite unlikely that anybody would get past you with an overcut. Too much tire wear.
No, that's totally fair enough. As I say, I think you guys just seem to still have so much pace, even after the rain had started to fall. That it seemed pretty well locked down for you at that point. I'm just having a little look at the championship. Obviously, you were second place in the championship. No chance of overtaking Ryan Cooper. He was sort of pretty much unstoppable. But he is at least running your name on the appreciation team, so that's fantastic. Nestorov was your closest rival, and obviously he didn't finish anywhere near you. He finished down in 10th, so you definitely take away second place honours. And this is your third second place finish in a row. So very nice end of the season with that one.
Yeah, not bad at all. Would have been nice to have a win somewhere, but I couldn't do it. Maybe next time.
Wow, that pesky Ryan Cooper was hogging all of the wins, wasn't he? He's got loads and loads of them, sort of thing. But you did have one race where you didn't even get to start. It was the second round, wasn't it? Which was, I'm trying to think, which was the second round? Was that? God, which was the
It was
second?
Indy.
That was the one, yes. Yeah, so you didn't actually get to start that race. So I mean, to come second place with obviously a dropped round as well, that is a fairly good going, good sir. I don't think you can't be too disappointed with that one. I think that's fairly decent. Looking forward to next season, obviously. You did spend a little bit of time in Tier 1. I think that was a season or two ago now. Big second place finish. Your pace has been pretty good. Are you hoping to go up to Tier 1 again? Or are you sort of thinking that Tier 2 is the right kind of place for decent racing for you?
Well, this was pretty much a practice season for me picking up the new car, the Lambo. So I think I've been gaining pace over the season, and perhaps I have the pace to qualify into Tier 1 again next time. We'll see when it gets to that.
Very nice, very nice. It's good to know that you're thinking about it and trying to get up there. Only other thing, are you going to be taking part in the AOR Endurance Championship?
It's unlikely, but I'm not sure. I think some people will try to convince me still, so perhaps.
Oh, so he can be swayed. You heard that at home, everyone. If you've got your team and you're sort of thinking we want someone a bit alien-esque to come on the team, there you go. You can pester him into doing it for you. You might better get away with it. Right, we've got a couple of other people wanting to have a chat, Jimmy. Is there anyone you want to have a quick shout out to before we move on to the race winner?
Good battle to Mervelt, and congrats to Ryan. He deserved it.
Fantastic. A gentleman on the track and in the commentary booth. Thank you ever so much, mate. And yeah, we'll see you either, hopefully, in Tier 1 or Tier 2 next time round. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. See you.
Right, believe this should be our race winner. For some reason, the name is not showing up in its complete form. I'm just seeing a V. Is this Mirveld?
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Yes, fantastic. Mirveld, absolutely fantastic to have you back on the grid. A bit late to join us this season. I'm just
Yeah.
quick look. Yeah, you missed the first two rounds. Then the first time with us, you had your 20th place, but then you had 2 fifths and a ninth, and then showing why you were fan favourites a couple of seasons ago. Absolutely fantastic to see you taking that pole position this evening. Did you ever have any worries that you weren't going to take the win? Because you've dominated the whole way through.
Well, I think the whole race I had worries already from the start onwards, because I had 2 Lambos in my back within 1.5 seconds or something. And yeah, I was a bit pessimistic about my race pace because I didn't really practice that. And I don't know, the car felt pretty bad in the first few laps, but after it became fast, it felt amazing. So then I gained some more confidence.
Yeah, but it was a bit strange for how long it took to get the car up. I mean, get the track up to sort of a
Yeah.
decent racing. As in starting the race on green is always a bit strange. But obviously, where it was a bit of a thinner grid, only 25 cars this evening, it then took quite a long time to get the car even sort of get the track even to go to green and then to go fast and everything. So yeah, quite surprising. And I imagine it was a little bit hairy going up the hill for the very first time. Oh, and obviously the other thing to keep an eye on was Fernandez with the world's latest pit stop, obviously trying to see what was going to happen with the weather. What went through your mind when you, one, saw the rain was going to be coming, and then two, when it probably dawned on you that Fernandez was going to try and chase the rain and get a set of wet tires fitted?
Yeah, so like Jimmy Holm pitted behind me, and I thought, shit, I gotta, I gotta cover him because otherwise he will overtake me, and I won't go back, before him. But I thought it was gonna be like quali, like 2 minutes of rain, and then it would be dry again. So I immediately thought, oh, okay, I'm gonna box as well. But then after 2 laps, I saw the rain was keeping on, and the guys were staying out, and I got scared. That the last 2 laps would be too wet, but in the end we could just hold on. It was pretty scary, to be honest, but yeah, I could see like the last 3 laps he wasn't going to catch us because the gap was just too big. But yeah, it was pretty scary at the beginning though.
Yeah, I think he just, those tires of his just had to go that little bit too far, and so he was dropping off the pace. I think you guys
Yeah,
were nearly 2 seconds a lap quicker than him for that sort of the 5 laps leading up to his pit stop. So it just meant that you guys, even though you were technically behind him, you were gaining on him absolutely great guns. And so then when the tables turned and his tires then were wet when it needed to be wet, he just didn't have that many laps. I think it was pretty much was 2.5 laps he had. He got a few positions, but yeah, it just didn't quite go to plan. But for you, it did go to plan this evening. Great qualifying, great race finish as well. That was absolutely spot on.
yeah.
Do you want to give anyone a quick shout out?
Well, I gotta give a shout out to the guys at Go for giving this amazing setups, because I couldn't do it myself. But yeah, and for my mates practicing all the, or supporting me in practicing. So yeah, it was fun, and well, it's finally my first one. So hopefully next season some more.
Yeah, happy days. To say, yeah, really good to see you back. I say that's having fan favorite Mirveld in the chat in the race is always good. I've got to say it was always great. The chat would always go wild for Mirveld, and it was back when the chat was quite quiet as well, and it would always be great. And yeah, me and John when we used to do tier 2 together, it would always put a great smile on our face to see your fans. So you'll have to get them back. You'll have to pester them
Yeah,
to come
I,
back on. Have to let them
I have to
know.
pay them again. No,
Oh
no.
no, but that's why you needed to win, so you could win the bet and get somebody to pay them with.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's now I can say, guys, I've won again, so you can come back and watch me. So no, no, I will see if some, because they are my friends, so
yeah.
see if they can watch maybe next time.
Yeah, you'll have to pester them. Get them back. Getting them back in that chat. Get me to hurl abuse at me if I'm not putting you on screen enough. Right. Thank you ever so much, mate. We're going to move on now to our championship winner, Mr. Ryan Cooper. But thank you
Yep.
ever so much for joining us. Hopefully, we see you again, either tier 1 or tier 2 next time round. I'm sure you'll be in one of those two. You're a very accomplished racer. So yeah, thank you ever so much, mate. And we will see
Yep.
you next season.
Thanks to you guys as well for hosting this. So yeah, thank you.
Cheers, mate.
See you
Thank
next
you.
season. Bye.
Ryan Cooper, a man we have spoken to many, many times this season just because you've completely dominated it. You didn't even have to show up today, and for a little while, I didn't think you were going to show up. But there you go, coming across the line. It wasn't your best finish today, down in 16th place, but it doesn't matter. You are still by far the outright championship winner. How does it feel to win tier 2?
That feels good. But now looking at the last, okay, this race was a bit meh, but looking at the last race, I could have won also. So one extra would have been cool. But yeah, it feels great to win. It's just before the seasons before, I was lower and I was struggling a bit, and now it's just I don't know. It's kind of a dream season with the way it's going.
Yeah, I mean, I say, it's what you had. You had a second, a first, a second, a first, another first. Then obviously, we know you had some issues there at Suzuka coming in 13th place, and then today. Was it your plan to not really qualify, or were you just the car just wasn't feeling right?
No. The first outlap I forgot to adjust the brake ducts to put them more open, and then I changed that. and then I went out again, and then someone rang on the bell here, and I was home alone, and it was my sister who didn't have keys, so I had to go back to the pits again, and then open the door for my sister, run back, and then start the lap, and then yeah, it's the first lap was compromised, and the second lap was the BMW and the Ferrari got together, so I lost the lap there, and that was it. Because after that lap, the rain came. So yeah.
But I mean, still finished. That is the main thing. I did notice you were running a different livery this evening. You were running the Stability Control 88%, whereas before you'd been running, I can't remember the name of the livery you've been previously running, but it almost from a distance looked like sort of like tiger stripes. Was that a tactical change, or have you taken on that team yourself now?
No, I thought I'd just run a black gold sauce livery for once. Because it says stability control, but it was clearly stability control 88% because I went way slower. So I'm gonna have a talk with him about that.
I saw it and I was like, hang on a second, there's another Bentley on the track. Which Bentley is this? And then realized, oh, it's not. It was the polar opposite. Normally one of the brightest liveries out there to one of the darkest liveries. It took a case of getting a bit closer look and then sort of working out who it was. So you've done absolutely fantastically here in Tier 2 this season. I think it's fair to say if you maintain this pace, you're going to probably be up in Tier 1 next time round. I mean, that I know we spoke before earlier in the season. You said that was the goal to try and get into Tier 1. Are you going to stick with the Bentley if you do go up to Tier 1, or are you going to pick maybe something a bit more modern? But I mean, obviously we have the custom BOP now, so it does make a bit of a difference. But yeah, are you feeling fairly at home in the Bentley?
Yeah, the Bentley feels good for me. Like with the now with the release of the Nordschleife, I was trying a few different cars, but I don't know, I was trying Audi, and coming back to the Bentley, I'm always that little bit faster because I'm just used to it. So, and I also in some endurance we drive Ferrari, and in the past a bit of Porsche, but it's always the Bentley where I don't know, it just feels like a second home to me.
Wow, I mean, that's good to know. Sometimes there is that case of you try something new and you think, oh, this is quite nice. And then you go back to what you were driving before and you're like, oh, and now I'm even quicker again in this car. So it can make a bit of a difference. I've finally gone back to a mid-engined, they've gone back to the Ferrari. I had a long stint in the Mercedes and then decided, oh, let's see what the Ferrari's like, and thought, oh, this is quite nice. Tried to get back in the Mercedes and then pretty much just immediately crashed on the first corner because it just didn't turn in on the Nordschleife. So I was like, okay, let's get rid of this. And so yeah, now back in the modern Ferrari. But yeah, I'm finally getting out of the booth and back into my racing seat a little bit, as obviously this is the end of the season now. But obviously we've got the Apex Online Racing Endurance season about to begin. Are you going to be taking part in that under any of the teams, or are you still sort of snooping around and seeing what's about?
No, I'm taking a part. I'm doing it with Lucas Each and Imran, but I think he never did AOR. And then maybe we can convince Holm to drive. But you
See, there
never
we go.
know.
A minute ago, he was saying he wasn't racing, but he was open to being, pestered. So there you go. You've got to get on it. You've got to pester him. You two, you always seem to have great banter between each other. So I'm sure you should be able to sort of, just push him into doing it. If you tell him he's soft for not doing it, he'll definitely want to do it. So, but I mean, yeah, as we said before, it's been an absolutely dominant season for you. It's been an absolutely brilliant, you came out of absolutely nowhere and just absolutely smashed it this time round. So obviously the practice you've been doing has made an absolute, sort of wild difference. Is there anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, Luca, Jimmy Holm for being there every game with me. Timo Karp and Riba for some setups. And for all the guys from the Force Discord and the Porsche Binala Team Discord for just being good friends and fun guys.
Fantastic. That's great to hear that it's not just on the track. It's something social between you guys as well. It's always good to hear that people are getting involved, and we're obviously a community-run place here at Apex Online Racing. So it is all, none of us get paid anything. We're all just here for the love of it all. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. Thank you again, Ryan, for coming in the booth for probably the 1000th time I think this season. I do appreciate it, mate. And so we'll see you either in Tier 1 or Tier 2 next time, I imagine.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe on the podium in Tier 1.
Yeah, do it. You can be the one to finally dethrone Luke. And we thought Aiden was going to do it this season, but not quite. Luke had other plans, so you can finally be the one to do it. take him off his pedestal.
Yeah.
A little bit nervous giggle, but there was a giggle there. You've got confidence. You've got confidence. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you ever so much, mate. We're gonna call it a night in just a minute. So thank you ever so much for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for commentating. Have a
No
good
worries
night.
at all. Absolute pleasure, sir. Right, so that is us done for another sprint series. That's another one in the books. Again, thank you ever so much for joining us here on another Tier 2 Tuesday. I am back when the new seasons come around after the little summer break. I'll be doing Tier 1 and Tier 2. So going to have a little bit of fish around and see if anyone wants to come and join me as a co-commentator. That would be very nice if someone wants to come and give up their evenings and do a little bit of fun. It is great in the booth. But yes, so we will be back. Haven't got the dates for that yet because we always have the summer break. But while we're on that break, there is, of course, the endurance season that is coming round as well. So 27th of the 4th, we've got 10 hours of Spa. 11th of the 5th, we've got 8 hours of Silverstone. 25th of the 5th, 9 hours of Hungaroring. And then on the 8th of the 6th, it's the big one. It is 12 hours of the Nordschleife. So that is the new one that has just come out. If you own ACC and you haven't got that DLC yet, I implore you to go out and get it. It is absolutely fantastic. The way that track has been put together by 505 and KUNOS, it's pretty spectacular. It's by far the best track DLC they have ever done. And it's like 8.5 minutes a lap, so there's lots to do. You can't get bored of doing the same lap. Right. Thank you ever so much for joining us. We will see you again next season, and we will probably see you for the endurance stuff. And I'm not entirely sure what is being streamed of that yet, but we will keep you posted. Keep an eye on all the socials. I have been Tim360 Learn. Thank you ever so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.